Hi, welcome. Good to see you. So, in the last video, we were doing the diagonal, forward left and forward right for the sprint. And one thing I wanted to do is explain the concept I was using to find the root location distance that we should go for our diagonals. We open up our sequencer, we've got that open, click on our character, should pop open the animation mode. If for whatever reason it doesn't, um, you can just select this drop-down list, go to animation. Looks like the hotkey is Shift 8. And we'll open up our layers. I'm going to bring them up over here. So if we mute our sprint forward left layer, let's hide some of the things so we aren't distracted. So we have our sprint and now our root motion on our sprint. So if we take this and we're going to create two objects. So basically what we're trying to do is we're saying our character moves to this point right here, just about right there. And in order to do this in a poor man's way, someone who's not so great at math like I am, we want to find where they're going to go over here, 45 degrees left or 45 degrees right. And I find that the easiest way to do that is we just basically we have to figure out how we're moving along this circle here. At some point, when you move this way, it's not going to be, say this is 450 units this way, so 450. We don't want to move 450 units on X and then move 450 units on Y, because that'll be too far. That'll be someplace out there. And now your foot placements will be wrong. Your root motion will be too far. And if we know that this is the center, like in math, basically this is the diameter of the circle and the distance that they're moving forward is the radius. So if we pivot from here and we have a point out here that's parented to it, we rotate this parent here. Let me just erase everything. That's good enough. So we've got our pivot here. We've got our point out here. And this point is a child of this point. So whatever this thing does, whatever we do to it, this one's going to receive that information. And because it's out here where the amount of distance that we're moving and traveling is, we rotate this here, then this circle, or this point, is going to move along that circle, pivoting from this location, and we'll find our new location out here. So if you rotate 360 degrees, you'll eventually get back to where you were, and it'll be a complete circle if we rotate from this parent starting pivot point here. So let's try that out. My long-winded way of saying let's make a circle. So we're going to make two shapes. Shape one, and we can just duplicate this one. So Control D, and they're floating off the ground. If we hit the end, I guess page down. No, maybe it has something to do with animation. Let's get back to selection mode. I'm forgetting the hotkey to plant it on the ground. Thought it was end, enter. I know there is a hotkey. Anyway, what we can do is take these, just set them to 0. And then we're going to change their scale. We're going to have a smaller one. That'll be the child, 8.25. And then we'll have a bigger one. That'll be the parent, 0.5. And we want to try to mimic what's going on here. So we're going to go back to animation mode. I'm going to select this object. We're going to bring in those objects to our sequencer. We're going to go to our animation details and figure out where we are. Oh, that'll be 0, 0, 0. What we want is the world details for our SKM. There it is. So we're at right here on Y. We're going to take our cube 2, that'll be our parent, Y location there. And then we're going to come to our controller. We're going to see how far we're moving in the animation details. Right there. We're going to come back to our cube 1, paste that out. So we know how far we're moving. Back to cube 2. If we want them in line, we're going to take our X position from cube 2, paste that here. Then what we're going to do, if we can, we're going to, there we are, we're going to parent. We undo that. We just take our cube 2 and we drag it over to cube. And then that'll create a parent-child relationship. And now if we rotate cube 1, ooh, that's cube 2. Let's try this again. We're going to take cube and parent to cube 2. Now if we rotate cube 2, we've got our pivot location, and we have our new locations for where we want to go with our character's root motion. Interesting. Control Z is funny. I think it does it keep it to where we last rotated? So if I rotate over here, I Control Z. Now it just puts it over there. Weird. So we're finding that there's something kind of odd about this process. If I take cube 2, and what we're going to do is we're going to just place it right on top of our controller over here, which is this location, our SKM. We're going to take our cube 2 and anim details, paste that location over here, like that. Let's see what happens there. Cube 1 is in a weird location. So if we set a key there, zero that out. Okay, that zeroes that out there. And then we want it to be this location. Back to cube 1. What's that? There we go. That is definitely not that distance. That's interesting. I wonder if it has something to do with the scale. Just to see. Is that? No. Nothing with the scale, so that's good to know. Let's try to snap it. Bring our snapper up. Child. Parent is the global control. We're just going to snap frame 10 to that location. And what value do we get? We got 889 over here. bonkers. I'm just going to set a key here and delete that first key, move that last key, that first key all the way back. So now we're set up, which honestly took longer than I wanted. That's okay, we're learning. So what we're going to do, we're going to set a key here. We're going to rotate all the way around, I say negative 360. We're going clockwise. So across those 10 frames, we're going on. I go to cube 2, set some keys so that you can see that starts to plot the points that we're moving. Here, you can see how that looks like a nice circle right there. And if we want the exact 45-degree location, we'd come here to our cube and we would just type negative 45. And then we have our distance and our spot that we exactly that we need to go for our global control on our character. We go to layers. Let's say we mute this layer. Let's say we're doing that from left forward, but we haven't made our root layer yet. We're going to create a new layer, call this test. We're going to select the objects just to make sure. Okay, great. We're in our test layer. What we're going to do is use our snapper tool again. We're going to select our child, which is our global control. We're going to select our cube and make that our parent. We're going to set it to the frame that we're on. We just want position, we don't want rotation, because we don't want to rotate the root. If we rotate the root, then that will rotate the capsule. We can leave this on keys only because there actually are keys on these frames. But when I'm just doing one key at a time, I don't want to worry, one frame at a time, I don't want to worry about whether there's a key on that frame or not. So I just switch it to all frames. And then we're going to snap. And then what we're going to do is come back here. We're at our test location, our test layer. One thing that we didn't do is set a key at our 0 position. So we're just going to move our new key with our new position all the way out to frame 10. We're going to come back here and set these to 0 on frame 1 or frame 0. Now we have our root motion to the exact point that we need to move to. Just moving around that circle. Okay, cool. And we can do that for our other locations too. So just one more example. Let's just pretend that we're moving back and to the right. So if we come here on frame 10, I'm going to grab our cube, just set it to, what is the math there? We see that would be 90, I believe 135 around the circle. So if we're going clockwise around the circle, we're looking this way. This is 0, this is 90, and this is 180. And if you go this way, instead, counterclockwise, this would be negative 90. And if you arrive this way, it can also be negative 180. But we want this one right here. So if we just half 90, that would be the halfway arc or angle or degree, we're looking at 45. What we need to do is add our 45 to this one. So quick math, 45 plus 90 is equal to our 135. There we go. I fixed that 3. Now we're at 135 here, which is right where we need to be. So we take our, we have our snap setting set up, but let's just run through it again. We'll take our global control, that's our child, that's the object we want to move to our new position. We're going to take a cube, that is going to be our new position that we want to move to. We're going to set our frames, we're going to snap just our position, and there we are. Now we're running forward, but moving backward. Perfect. So just a quick little setup and a slightly different setup than we used last time. I found that one to be a little bit more troublesome. This one was also a little troublesome. So it's not perfect, but it's quick. And once you know the trouble spots, you can work through them pretty easily and work around the little quirks in the system. So hopefully that helps you and finding your location around the circle when you don't know how to do the math to find your location around the circle. Kind of like the compass that you had as well, at least I had as a kid in math class. All right. Hopefully that helps you on your journey in creating your games, and happy animating out there.